Well, research by Deloitte has found that over a third of Africans check their phones every 5 minutes. Let's now discuss how this changing behavior is affecting the way we transact day to day. Global media and entertainment leader at Deloitte Global, Mark Casey, joins us now. Mark, thanks so much for your time today. I'm very sure I don't fall into that 33% that checks their phone every 5 minutes, but let's talk about the research itself. How was it conducted?
Well, in fact, it was the very first time we've managed to get such a large audience together into the survey. So it's 5,000 people on the continent, both men and women, and importantly, urban and rural. So this wasn't just a metropolitan study, and it covered South Africa, Zimbabwe, Uganda, it covered Kenya and Nigeria. So a nice kind of mix of territories and also men, women, and rural.
So what did you find around smartphone penetration? Because a few years ago we were discussing the cost being a barrier to access, but it looks like now smartphones are becoming a little bit more pervasive than they were in the past.
Well, they are, and in fact, very interestingly in Africa, with the exception of South Africa, which is still quite brand conscious actually, so Samsung is still kind of the dominant brand here, not so across the rest of the continent. There is definitely a huge shift towards smartphones. I mean, the world of feature phones that we were used to has, very quickly started to change, and it's now accelerated dramatically. So a massive number of smartphones across the continent. People aren't so brand conscious. They're more concerned about the quality of the service and, connectivity and speeds than the device itself. And that's because the devices are cheaper and cheaper. And the brands are kind of less important than they used to be,
And talking about connectivity then, are you seeing a difference in the usage of mobile phones and what people are using them for, depending on access and cost of broadband and Wi-Fi?
Well, to me it's like a tipping point, and I've been saying this for a while. In Africa, as soon as you get a combination of greater smartphone penetration, greater connectivity, access speeds that are better, and a reduced price point, when you get all those coming together, there's a certain point that the continent transforms, and suddenly it's not a phone anymore, it's a platform for life. It's a digital device that now people check first thing in the morning, within 5 minutes, right up to the time they go to sleep. It's now not just a part of their life, it is their life.
We've actually seen that with banking, for example. Mobile money is a big thing on the continent, but are other industries building upon that model of mobile money?
We're seeing the start of that. My forecast is it's going to be much more dramatic over time. What I'm personally quite excited about is with mobile connectivity, particularly what's unique to Africa is public transport systems through taxis. I see a day where we're going to have like mobile Wi-Fi type situations in taxis where people are going to be in like mobile cinemas, where they're going to be enjoying educational facilities whilst they're traveling in the taxis. It's the most fantastic world available to us, where that time, instead of being lost time, is going to be productive time. Education is something being transformed by smartphones and enhanced connectivity. People don't want to read a textbook. They want a 10-minute burst, a short format video that gets the message home. They're going to be able to do that and enjoy that at very cheap data points. So there's a transformation happening in the continent right now.
So as we are looking into those devices for all of that time, what are we looking at? What are Africans watching or listening to on their phone?
Well, listening is such an important part of your question, because I'm just fascinated by the extent of music streaming that's going on right across the continent. And in fact, in the developed world, you don't see this. You do see it in India, you do see it in Latin America, Southeast Asia. In fact, it's an emerging market thing. And it's perhaps because it's a form of entertainment that's still quite cheap. So even the data charges are not quite as serious as they would be with video. But now the game is about to change. It was announced last week in India, where Reliance Jio have offered now to like a massive market, a 1.3, 1.4 billion population in India. You're going to have not just free voice calls, but you're actually going to free music streaming and basically free movie consumption. Now you're getting to a world of digital abundance rather than digital scarcity. The idea of, I can't use so much data because I haven't got so much left.
Don't have it,
and that's going to go away. In fact, the challenge for mobile network operators, they're going to have to figure out a business model in the future that's not predicated on voice and data. Those are going to be for free. What do they do to their businesses to make money in a digital abundant environment. That really is the kind of the code for the future.
And I suppose for app developers as well, there's an opportunity here.
Massive. And advertisers. So if you think about it, billions of people on the continent of Africa, no different to the rest of the world, let me tell you, accessing their phones, as frequently as they do. That means eyeballs on the devices. That's got to be good for advertisers. And now, of course, with the announcements in Europe that the ad blocking kind of wave that they thought was going to inhibit all this has now been completely dissipated, because the EU said this is going against the principles of net neutrality. You're not going to see ad blocking at the operator or the service provider level. Advertising, and really clever advertising, clickbait type services that are really going to attract the audience rather than just something that annoys you, that's going to become a feature for us.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Siggy, it's a pleasure.
That's Mark Casey, Global Media and Entertainment Leader at Deloitte Global.